had asked him because they were saying they were going to move. They're moving from oil now and moving more into renewable energy.
Yeah.
He talked about how they powered all their workstations and research places and their head office. And I was asking, okay, now that you're proposing exploring lithium, what do you plan to do for the people so you don't leave them as oil left the Niger Delta? And he just went on and on about the powered all the. I was like, you never talk how you go explore them in the safest way, because I don't want the states. Kwara, for instance, they are already mining lithium there. And I don't think anything is being done on the environmental part.
So one thing, I know you're not there yet, but one thing he said that really struck me, that has been giving me sleepless nights since I was the fact that this CNG that we're all excited about, that it's also damaging because it's going to be bringing out, as in methane or some kind of gas that will still be...
But we lived with petrol. Do you know what petrol leaves us with?
Yeah. So it's a whole topic altogether. So it's not perfect. It's cleaner energy
than where we are coming from.
Better than what, and then that would have just been, and what we use as CNG would have just been let to, go to waste.
Yeah.
So instead of letting it go to waste, which for me I feel is the kind of circular economy that you're using your waste to do something. So I think it depends on what side of the divide you're on. It's either no.
And also, their investors, their capitalists are looking at their profits. So I see it moving.
In fact,
what is my concern is if you must process anything here, how do you plan to leave the communities better off than they were?
That's your point. Hello,
I'm good, grateful to God. When Mariam was listing all the things that many companies have done into the sustainability journey, it occurred to me that because I can say my office is sustainable because we have solar powered in my office. Thankfully, as the grid has shut down, they have not remembered us in our area of Nigeria. We don't have light yet. We were able to walk all through the day because and thankfully, the rain did not fall. So the sun was bright, the solar was working, but the solar was a result of Band A was band-aiding us, and so we had to innovate and find something that was more sustainable. So sometimes challenges can push you into innovation and sustainability.
Yeah, even lucky. The whole of Nigeria is in black. I mean, my entire small estate, only one person that has solar. It has, all of us are going there to go and charge our phones. It's so bad.
So this month is breast cancer awareness month. So I got a pin when I walked in with the awareness team in Magodo, and I said I was going to wear it. I didn't remember yesterday. I'm wearing it today. Nice. Go get checked. It's extremely important. People still die of breast cancer because they don't find early. It's not a death sentence. So ensure you get checked. Finally, my third banter, the real banter. So yesterday, my son came into the car, and he was crying. Why? He said he could not afford to buy the snack he wanted to buy, that everything is now expensive at the talk shop. Like, he was crying. And I was like, what do you want to buy? He said, even the biscuit is now 200. Even the sweets, there's no more 20 naira sweet. Everything is now 50 naira. And it was just crying. I said, that's what is happening in the country. That's the reality. Your allowance can no longer buy you the snack you want. We have to find a way to make a way. Then I told my husband, his mother said, don't let him suffer unnecessarily. He has learned the lesson yesterday. Increase his budget for today, and that is so sad.
Inflation is a word in my house.
Everybody now knows. He's a small boy. Now he knows what inflation is. He knows the impact and how things are going on.
Exact same conversation at home yesterday.
Thanks for taking time to explain your three banters.
Yeah.
Let me go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with The Nation. Economy in upward swing, very promising, says Cardoso. Lagos red rail line from Uyingbo to Agbado takes off.
Gangan.
How economy is making progress under Tinubu by Reno Mokri. It was narrow escape in Libya, pilots who flew Eagles reveals. Senator Kawu accuses colleagues of drug abuse. Soludo, councils can't be autonomous. Okay, should I start with the major headline?
Yes.
So, yesterday at the House of Representatives, the Central Bank of Nigeria, Governor Olayemi Cardoso affirmed yesterday that the economy is on an upward swing despite the current difficulties. According to him, all indices point to a fast improving economy.
Dealers, marketers, that, that 25 million liters daily is what the refinery will be producing. But everyone is saying, that stakeholders, that that's not the case. And that if not because of the high price of petrol and diesel, that what would have been seeing really serious queues, that it's just that the prices have actually stopped Nigerians from bringing out their cars. Like, many people have parked their cars. So it looks like the way to go would be to
import.
Yeah, import, get from other suppliers, because they do not believe that the refinery is meeting up to production. The refinery, I think, insists that they had given different timelines that for different amounts that they would be producing. So there was a 10 million liters, 15 million liters by October, but that's
by
not
now
the
we're
case
not getting
ground.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Naira, according to World Bank, has been listed amongst the worst performing currencies in sub-Saharan
Tell me
Africa
something I don't know.
2024. This according to the latest edition of Africa Pulse, a new report by World Bank. As of the end of 2024, August, Naira had depreciated by 43%, making it one of the region's weakest currencies alongside the Ethiopian currency. The depreciation, according to reports of the Naira, is attributed to several factors, including surging demand for the US dollars in the parallel market and limited dollar inflows and delays in foreign exchange disbursements by Nigerian Central Bank. The World Bank's report further highlights that demand for dollar driven by financial institutions, non-financial end users, and money managers has exacerbated the pressure of the Naira. So this exacerbating situation
we know.
is something that
Tell
we are
us
aware of.
something we don't
know. Tell us for giving us the numbers to back it up.
It's like person doing the research is on one side and the other one people giving us the terms are on one side. They are on opposite side. They don't know what is happening.
All right, let's move on to Vanguard. Highest authority order diversion of flight, says pilot. That's the Super Eagles Libyan horror show. National grid collapses the second time in 24 hours. FOI, Mumbai engages 6 SANs to defend the 15 trillion Lagos Calabar highway budget suit. Flood, reps seek review of the Lago Dam agreements between Nigeria and Cameroon. PDP crisis, why governors nullify suspensions, ordered return to status quo. And State of the Nation, how Nigerians can take back their own country, says Patotomi. Okay, which story?
I have the flood, Rep 6. Is that the paper?
Flood? No. Who has the... I think we've taken all the stories. Umahi. Who has Umahi's story?
No, I don't have the story. I have a story inside the paper.
What the grid?
Somebody had ticked it.
Was it Libya I took?
Somebody took the story inside the paper is actually Sari Gomu building collapse. The Commissioner for Information and Strategy for Lagos State had come out to say that the governor, in protecting lives and property, had specifically, through the necessary agencies, that's LABSCA, Lagos State Building Control Agency, 2 weeks before the incident, had pasted that there must be an evacuation on the building. And because the LABSCA team were doing their job, the building was evacuated, and after, because it was labeled as distressed, evacuate, and then the building collapsed. So it would have been... There would have been loss of lives if the building wasn't labeled by LABSCA at the right time. And the reason I'm taking this story is because many people see those labels and feel like they just believe there's conspiracy. But in this case, there was no conspiracy. Number 20 Amusun Street, Orile Gomu, on Monday, it collapsed when just a few days before, it was labeled as evacuate. You might be lucky that they will label your house evacuate and it does not collapse few days after. But you might be unlucky, and thank God that the lucky people that obeyed, the residents obeyed, and now when the building collapsed, they evacuated. So when the building collapsed, there was no loss of life. So please, let's obey.
So they had evacuated them the day before it collapsed?
Yes, a few days before. They put the mark there and asked them to all evacuate, and they left. And when it now collapsed, it was not like it was
I saw that video.
Yes, it wasn't expected. It was the way they said it was like it collapsed on its own.
Yeah. Have you seen the video?
Yes.
It just felt, it looked like something had gone off.
And nothing, and thankfully nobody died.
Okay, so Nigeria's power. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I have this flood story from the House of Reps. They're seeking to review the Lagdo Dam agreement between Nigeria and Cameroon. And I like that following this resolution moved by the minority leader of the House of Reps, Kingsley Chinda, at the plenary, the House of Reps yesterday mandated the Nigerian-Cameroon Friendship Group to review the arrangement and agreement between both countries. They also mandated the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Federal Ministry of Works to expedite the completion of the Dancing Hausa Dam in Adamawa, which is supposed to buffer and absorb some of the water released from the Cameroon Lagdo Dam. The House of Reps also mandated the Ministry of Environment to undertake a comprehensive study of the impact of climate change. And I like that the House of Reps member, what do you call it, the Honorable, had reviewed how this continuously affects lives in the states that are bordering around the dam. He said whenever this water is released every year, you see Borno, Adamawa, Benue, Taraba, and Kogi start to suffer some kind of loss. And this dam has continuously been released over years. I like that now they are doing something. Hopefully before the next release, we'll have something. Okay. I was talking about somewhere to hold the water, because there are certain states in the north where you see drought.
They need the water.
They need the water for farming. So let's have to start to build channels.
Okay. Nigeria's power grid has collapsed for the 7th time this year and the 2nd time in 24 hours, throwing the entire nation into darkness. So it was not only you that was darkness. The grid recorded its 6th collapse in 2024 yesterday and was followed by a swift recovery before the system again collapsed. In the notice, the Ikeja Electric said, please be informed that we experienced another system outage today. And then similarly, EcoDisco also sent a message to all the customers. I'm not sure about it.
They did not send message, Joe.
EcoDisco said they sent message. Maybe your text message is not working.
They sent to
most,
you. They have removed
most, yes, I got the one from Ikeja also. So other states, let's see if they told you, because Ikeja and Disco Eco here told us.
Last week they carried the story.
Darkness that told us.
So we are currently working with our partners as we hope to speedy restoration.
Actually,
so we'll see
you're
how
right.
that
It was the darkness that told me, then I checked and I realized they had sent us.
Okay. So
Vanguard. Okay, I think we already took Vanguard. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Nigerian Tribune, our final paper this morning. PDP governors resolved the NWC crisis. Your government arranged auxiliary on 17-count charge. World Food Day. Nigerians groan as prices of food items continue to rise. FG and ASO agreement. Yayale Ahmed heads 53-member renegotiation committee. PDP flags off Ondo governor campaign as Makinde demands the redeployment of the state rec. And court orders Very Dark Man to remove defamatory content about Falano and his son.
So I have World Food Day. So as the countries all over the world are celebrating this day today, Nigerians are lamenting the high cost of food items. Some of them took to social media platforms to talk about the consistent increase in price of food. The Tribune did a report, went around Ibadan, and to find prices. They said a Congo of rice. A Congo. A Congo of rice. What is a Congo of rice?
Just
Erika.
It's
a bit above
the Erika.
It's not Mudu. Do you know what Mudu is?
I know Mudu. Mudu is smaller than a Derika.
Okay, so a Congo of rice goes for between 3,200 and 3,500. While a Congo of beans goes for between 4,000 and 5,000.
Beans is now a luxury.
75 cl bottle of vegetable oil now sells for 2,000 naira, while 75 cl of palm oil sells for between 1,000 and 1,200. So imagine these are really minimal
sizes, yes, and yet that expensive.
You know, now that you talked, I was going to call out some. Let me
just quickly take this story because there's malnourishment and it's very linked to food. The International Committee of the Red Cross has expressed concern over the number of hospital admissions of malnourished children in the Northeast as a result of severe food shortage. And they're saying this is in the 4 years, this is the highest number of crises. Is a combination of two things: climate change and the conflict within the area. And there are children, they said by the, as we get into the end of the year, into next year, 6.1 million people would not have enough to eat in the coming months based on these issues. And we need to say it. So it's not about the food being expensive, it's not even available. So we need to talk about that, and government needs to have a
and we saw the effects in celebration. Every year I've been going to celebration. When they give us rice in celebration, big.
Did you come back for you?
Of course I took it. Big chicken, one meat, and they put moi.
And this year?
This year there was no moi.
It's only jollof rice.
Jollof rice, and the meat was very small.
Asaro.
And no asaro. God bless you. That asaro used to be fantastic.
Budget.
Oh God.
And they didn't get a sponsor for the children's debate.
Yes,
I'm saying so. Celebration had to be cut down a bit just because of the hardship. But when I saw that, because I was looking for that rice, I told Auntie Kate, that my shrine rice that I always,
This one, they did not let
He gave me.
This wasn't shrine rice, it was just jollof.
It was just jollof rice.
The signature left it.
I was.
But I want to quickly take the Falana story. So the court granted the ex parte application. Ordering Falana had brought an ex parte application that's immediate, temporary, to ask very dark black man to take off all the defamatory content that he had put up about the SAN, and the court ordered it immediately. And the court also said that even though he knew that what he was publishing was false, he went ahead to publish it. So we're looking at phase 1. Scene 2 is about to come.
Okay, let's go on a break now. That's all we can take on the front page review. When we come back, we'll on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results. So
my 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
You be like person At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, Yifadala.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number 1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym to get fat. Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer,
you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy
has been with somebody's girlfriend?
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person you see on what's his name?
That woman.
Damn!
Yeah, today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's catch up.
And Joe has been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay tuned. TVC Entertainment with pure entertainment.
Hi. Oh.
Thanks for staying with us. So food security is a current issue in Nigeria as it is across Africa, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO statistics, which indicated that in 2024, Nigeria is expected to see about 26.5 million people grappling with high levels of food insecurity. Furthermore, a report by Economic Commission of Africa shows the linkage between land tenure and food security in Africa. So joining us right now on the show to talk more about this executive officer of Wale Agro, Nigeria Limited. Welcome very much, Mr. Yusuf Adewale. Welcome to the show, sir.
Nice to be here.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
So tell us, why are you so passionate about solving this food crisis, insecurity in Nigeria?
Well, it all started during my childhood, during the military era where there was economic hardship and there were high increase, in food prices. So my mom, my parents were working in a university environment and salary were not forthcoming. Things were on a very high side. Fortunately for us, the university gave them access to farmland. And then they were able to make use of that land to cultivate enough food. So during those seasons, we were just enjoying ourselves, There were food everywhere, and we were also selling some of this food as well, and then giving out to our neighbors. So that's actually, I started developing passion, agriculture. If this can solve, can settle us, can save us during this season, then it can save as many as possible whereby they can cultivate and then has enough food, be able to sell to people, get income from it, and then they will be fine at the end of the day. So I believe if people have access to farmland, have access to input machineries and then capital, then they will be able to scale the seasons of hardship and then food inflation in the country.
People say that when we remove the problem of food, all the rest are easy to solve. So how strong are your belief that creating these farm estates can solve the issue of food insecurity in Nigeria?
Let's do a brief throwback on how we started as a country. During the 1950s and 1960s, during the Awolowo era, whereby young men and women were brought together, large expanse of land were given to them to cultivate, machineries, everything was made available, the infrastructure, everything was made available, and then they started cultivating, and then the data shows that Nigeria increased its food production during those eras, but since oil came, we've diverted our attention from agriculture.
And longer the warriors.
So our production started coming down. During those times that people were engaged in agriculture, we can say the largest producer of cocoa is Nigeria, oil palm, groundnut. I can go on and on like that. But since we diverted our attention from agriculture, we started scaling back on production, and then here we are now. So if we can bring that, that same policy back, where we engage a lot of, young men, women, provide the infrastructure, everything, the land, the machineries, the inputs, make the road accessible, extension services, the knowledge aspect and everything. I believe it's just a matter of time. We are going to the top,
So I find it interesting. You're talking about the military era and the food insecurity at that time, but here we are, 2024. We're dealing with levels of food insecurity as well. We took a paper a story in the paper talking about malnourished children. What do you think is the cause of this increasing food insecurity that we have in Nigeria? What can we do, to salvage the situation? Okay. And then, I got some data that says something about 9.4 million Nigerians are undernourished. That is not a small deal, at all. And I was wondering if you could just shed some light on that.
The major problem we have right now is insecurity. Farmers are not able to access their farmland. Most of the farmlands are being destroyed by bandits and miscreants. So they were unable to produce more. So when there is no food available, then people will have issues of malnourishment. There won't be enough food accessible to the populace, and which is going to cause malnourishment. So if we're able to solve the issue of insecurity, then I believe everything will come back to normal. And how do we solve it? Government needs to collaborate with the local, community. There should be a local policing of the various farms, so that the farmers can have the confidence to go to the farm, and they will feel protected, and they will start cultivating the land. And before you know it, at least we have enough food available. And so if that is not solved, then we will have issues of food not being available to the populace. And then we also need to give knowledge. Knowledge is very important as far as agriculture is concerned, because you need practical knowledge. There are people that should be training the farmers on the best practices, what is needed to be done, how to do it, and then once they have that knowledge, they will be able to practicalize it on the farm, and things will come.
But the government has already built farm settlements, and the goal is to have educated young men and people generally, encourage into making a career out of agriculture. That already sounds like the government has done something remarkable. So I'd like to find out if you think the government is doing enough in the area of access to fund for the people that they have now put in the farm settlement to be able to create agricultural businesses from their initiative.
Yes, government is doing little it can, but they still need to do more. Now, the old farm settlements that have been established, government is now trying to revamp it, to bring in, technological, infrastructure, make it accessible to the farmer. But government needs to do more. There are some farm settlements that are yet to be revamped, which government is. If we do not revamp all those farm settlements, we'll still be having.
What do you mean
by revamp? Some of the farm settlements are in bad shape. The structures are dilapidating. So they need to rebuild them. Make the road accessible. Provide tractors, all the implement there, so that people can walk, farmers can walk, and then we'll see improvement in food.
Let's talk about your company. I mean, what's your company doing to support young people who are actually trying to get into farming? What are the challenges you've seen, and how have you overcome them?
Well, what we are doing presently as an organization is to make sure that people have access to farmland, and then in a very secured environment, whereby they can do what they want to do. There are tractors, there is security, they can collaborate and synergize together among themselves, and then they have the access to buyers. That is also very important. You don't just produce without having an
market
off-takers
ready
that will take it up. So those are the things we are trying to, we are providing for people so that agriculture can come back to where it was before. People can have enough food to consume. People can have money as well, by when they sell their produce, and then everybody will be okay. The nation can, prosper and grow.
Fantastic. So, I
wanted to talk about storage. Are you also providing, so there are certain farm products that if we store them, there will be no fluctuating prices. Perishable ones like tomatoes, where there's a season, off-season for certain kinds of it. And we don't, apart from, having markets readily available, we do not have storage. You see so much wastage. Are you also looking into that?
Yeah. Those are some of the things we are doing. We have storage for yam. We have storage for, tomatoes. And then we also have, many warehouses on some of our farm estates for soybeans and all of that. So, because storage is very, very important. If you produce and then you're not able to store it, you are losing your money, the income, and then at the same time, people will not be able to have access to these things to consume. So storage is very, very important. So in some of our farm estates, we have storage facilities where we store, yam, tomatoes, soybeans, and some of these things. It's one step at a time. I believe as time goes on, we'll be able to have storage facilities for some of these staple crops, so that we'll reduce the spoilage and then we're able to increase it.
We need to wrap up with you. Is there any final message you want to give your Nigerians listening to you this morning?
What I will say is this is the time every Nigerian must go back to agriculture. Last month, I was passing through my 12, and I was like, let me just see the prices of what is going on. Yeah, and then I drove into the market, and then I asked for yam. Could you imagine that a yam of tuber was 5,000 naira?
You can't imagine. It's a reality.
5,000. I was like, wow, in this country, how do we get to this point? About 79 million hectares of agricultural land, and we are selling a tuber of yam 5,000. Dear Nigerians, it is time to go back to agriculture. We need to eat what we produce and then produce what we eat.
Yeah. Thank you. Well said.
Thank you very much. Well said.
I like your outfit too.
Let us go on a short break now. When we come back, move on to our next segment, our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Host, I can tell you that being a parent is one of the biggest reality shows you will ever produce. Hi. Oh, yeah.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Host. Thanks for staying with us. So the federal government has introduced plumbing, hairstyling, and other vocational skills into the basic school curriculum. The Federal Ministry of Education announced recently that the new curriculum for basic education will commence across schools in January 2025. This was disclosed by the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman, in Abuja at a stakeholders meeting on the implementation of the new curriculum. Now, everybody's talking about it. People have different angles and different perspectives to this. What are your own thoughts? And that's beautiful. Of your view, we have a phone line. You can call in to share your thoughts with us. Call us on 081-0764-1679. You can also send us messages on X and also on YouTube. We'll be happy to hear your thoughts. So, I mean, we've always said it on this table somewhere that we need to kind of diversify education. Yes, some would believe that they are more, they're rather skill set than the academic knowledge of things. So they would rather that than go into academics. But what are your own thoughts on this new policy and the fact that they're starting as soon as January 2020? That's like in a few months. Yeah. Are they ready?
So there are many, it's a good policy. Like Nigeria, yesterday we were saying that Nigeria we don't have a deficit of ideas. We have many amazing ideas. We have challenge with implementation. We come up with these ideas and we have not put in the structure to support effective implementation of the amazing ideas. So you have all these new courses you want to introduce. Do we have enough teachers to implement these amazing ideas? ideas that were put together. Because even in my kids' school right now, they said as they resumed, a week or two after they resumed, one of the CRS, that's the Christian Religious Study teacher, resigned. And so there was a gap because one person is struggling to take the entire, we're trying to get someone to fill in that role. And I'm like, CRS shouldn't be a scarce subject to get a teacher to handle. But guess what? There's a bit of challenging.
CRS, yeah.
Yes, there's a bit of challenge. Yes,
even Yoruba or language, Igbo,
so when you bring in plumbing and all these other courses, do we have teachers that will be able to teach them who understand how to teach and are very skilled? Because you can have the skill and not know how to teach. Have we spent like 3 months of letting them understand how to teach children as opposed to teaching adults? Like there's some... It's an amazing idea. I know it would improve the number of skilled workers that we have. Till tomorrow, we still bring in tilers from Cotonou. We bring in plumbers from there as well because they seem to understand the skill better than our own people, and they do it seemingly better. So I feel it's a good idea, but we need to have some things on the ground. Then, when you now have these plumbers and tilers and all these amazing people, what about the feeling of this is less than, we all went to school together, but I'm a plumber and I feel less than, the dignity of labor. In other developed countries, a plumber is not looked down, they don't look at the plumber and say, you still get well paid, you can live a comfortable life. But here, so there are many small things that we need to use to
this developed world, it didn't happen overnight. They grow into it. Yeah, true. There was a time where plumbing was a menial job.
There's no menial job.
We refuse as Nigerians to gradually get into these things. Don't have to switch and do a 360 and get there.
No, we can. That one is even the easiest one to do. The one about getting teachers that are friendly and of all the number of plumbers that we have at our skill acquisition center, they cannot come to primary school and teach children. I want to make it complicated. It's not that hard.
It's not that easy.
It's not that hard. It was easy when the government of Lagos started their skill acquisition centers and people were going there. I know a lot of graduates from those places in fashion, in welding, and all of that. And it wasn't a perfect system. It was an idea somebody had and said, okay, let's just start. This one is a welcome idea. As you have said it, all of us welcome it. Let them start immediately. I remember when I thought of the idea of my daughter, my kids not doing 365 days of a year academics anymore. And my daughter was 4 years old, and I said she had to go. Everybody thought I was weird. Now everybody on the streets is doing it.
Are learning.
I remember that I bought her a bag. I said, this is your address. This is your lesson. You are going for lesson.
Summer holiday.
I put a comb inside. I said, go to the salon. The woman that was supposed to teach her was lost on the idea. I looked. It was only me that saw the vision. Even my husband was like, are you okay? 4-year-old girl. When she came out of that place and was doing twisting, say, at least we achieved twisting this year. Don't worry, next year we're going again. At 5 years, and she could weave shuku. If you see, the father was the one that was coming. We were both coming from work. I had picked him up that day, and he saw his daughter. She had finished the shuku on the door. And he was like, did you do this? The woman said, and actually, since morning she did it. It's 2 hours since she did come here. She don't do them. He felt so proud. So it doesn't always, the vision doesn't have to be very clear from the beginning. And there's no child that cannot be taught any of these things that we're looking down. When the videos now surface from Japan and China, we'll be like, now picking for China, see education. They will now do comparison. They will now go to one school that has dilapidated. They will put picture. They will put the picture of those ones. I see those ones, they had a perfect plan when they started it.
Let me get
no perfect plan.
Yeah. So, you know, this conversation for me is, first of all, I wanted to ask, is this new because it's primary school? Or is it just new
secondary?
To us? This is secondary, right? Because I remember in secondary school, we all had to bring hoes because we had to till the soil. It was part of like the agricultural program, you know. We had home economics. So we learned to cook. We learned to do like table mats, to embroider fabrics. There's so many things we were doing. Then there was intro tech. So introduction to technology. We were putting wood together, measuring protractors and things like that. So this is so for me, this isn't new. But I just don't know, maybe since the time I left school, if it's something that is not done anymore. So it's not new. And I think it is a welcome idea. It's something that we should encourage, definitely. And it's something that can be woven seamlessly into the curriculum. It doesn't need like a special school to go to. It just has to have the different times in the period that you can do this. But now, I agree with Tokwe where she said policy has never been our issue. Execution of these policies, implementation that has always been the problem. And so that's why I disagree with you, Nima, where you said if it comes out of Japan, we'll be talking. They do it properly. That is why we see how they, that's why we see it and we admire it. Sometimes, even at the time when we were doing in secondary school, there were some of these topics that I know that they just did it so that at the end of the day, they can say that we put them together to do it. Sometimes they don't really put you through the process of teaching you to learn it. It's just you're so many in a class, there's so many other subjects to do, and so they just push you during the home economic class, you have got your orange, you have done this, be going. Do you understand? So it has to be done properly to make sense, to achieve the goal that the government is willing to achieve. And that is my problem with Nigeria, concerning a lot of things, and I hope in this case, it is different.
That's where I want us to harp on, because ideas are a dime a dozen. Everybody's got great ideas. But execution is extremely important, because I remember I was part of the Lagos State project. And I remember the amount of work that went into setting up those comprehensive schools. There was data, like a bit of a pyramid where all these kids come in, right? And as they get into GSS 3, they drop off. Either somebody gets pregnant or the parents cannot afford to continue to SS because of the demands of SS when you get into senior secondary school. So many factors. Some get into drugs and they just say, now I can read and write. They just move on. So the pyramid was getting thinner, where those who get into GSS 1, at the point of SS3, they are fewer. They're almost less than half. So what the solution, therefore, is that when they get to GSS 3, let there be a division, where those of you that want to learn a skill go this way, those that want to continue academics go this way. Now, at the end of the day, you still meet up at the end where you are still certified. You're not just earning hair, making hair because I want to be makeup. No, you get actually certified, where you still do your academics, because you still have to do your exam, NECO at the end. So all of you are still going to meet back here and still do your exam. So when you graduate, you are not just, you are useful. So you don't have to go into university, you have something. So that takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of, because teachers, you need private entities to partner with you. So my question is to the federal government, have you thought this? Because ordinarily Lagos State, when they did work, and they were only able to roll out for 12 schools. They were planning for 50 more schools, and they've not even gone to up to 50. They're just still doing 12 schools. It's not beans.
So the Federal Minister for Education, Professor Taimam, I just wanted to correct up, says this new curriculum for basic schools, saying that basic schools mean primary schools. So that's where they will start. And he said private primary schools were required to adopt the new curriculum and update their curriculum for secondary schools as well. So this is happening for both primary, and that's why I welcome it. That's one.
Okay.
Two is that they do not need to perfect it so that they will not have it in pipeline. And they are putting in committees and committees to perfect it before we start seeing it. Like I said, start and perfect as you go. So that it's not these children can be 10 in class or 100 in class and they have only one orange to share, to do the dissecting of the orange. Until they perfect it, yes now, and find ways to increase resources, they should start first. That's my own. No. You know, I said, I'm not talking about another person's child. I'm talking about my kids.
Yeah, we know.
And I see how easy it was if you engage children. Now, this is me just doing on my side, but we know that we need these children academically as well as skillfully equipped. And it's not something that when you miss, I always say, my husband always argues that they will learn it anytime. No. There are certain year gaps that when you miss it, it will cause worry. And then when you say, okay, now, federal government have come, now, minister have said that they should start teaching them. The school will now say, we are taking time to go and buy tongue, comb, hot one, this, that, for the people who want to do, they don't have a pipe for plumbing.
That's reality.
No, start immediately. If the government can, if the government has a budget of 100,000 naira per school, share it and buy if it's one pipe, one whatever, and let the kids even see.
It is the Nigerian parents that will carry placard and be shouting, it did not reach my child. They only have one.
Let me tell you what private schools can do. Instead of us buying Ankara.
Mola is calling from Jebode. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, this is Ademu. We are calling from Jebode.
You're live.
Your cousin from Lagos, Luther. Yeah. My sister, there's something I want to let you know. This is Ademu. You are not Ademola. That's my sister. There's something I want to tell the lady in blue. When we were in our days in school, we had large numbers of students in class. It was not just this, not like this 32 numbers of children in class, but we were many. My sister in blue, the one I'm talking to, were many. But out of that period, we were compelled. Is either you will be asked to bring cutlass to school, hoes to school, and before you know it, I personally had a farm, a small farmland, of which I practiced. Now I've returned back to Djibouti from Lagos. I have my own personal land. I have my own personal farm. Everybody shouldn't say because education is the key. Education is just for us to do what? To be able to communicate, know what is right from wrong. If government is bringing back these curricular activities, I swearly want to give them a thumbs up for that. Because let me tell you, the major thing now is, if you even have ask an adult, that do you know how long it will take pepper to grow? It will tell you, can I take that time? Can I stand in the sun? And I must tell you, there are teachers for it. There are teachers for it. It's because they are old enough now, even older than the so-called new NCE graduates. And there is no job for them from the past. We started losing all these curricular activities when our president, Obasanjo Atiku, started registering private schools. When ministers started having their own means to register private schools.
Oh, hello. I'm so sorry. I was really enjoying what he was saying. We have to go on a short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 20 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's
I
all
can
we can
Nigeria,
take.
but I choose to
Ejek,
stay.
close the show, Father.
Ladies and gentlemen, #1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for #1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah, but do you know one?
Thanks for staying with us. So on the next segment of the show, Mariam, would you love to do the honors?
Okay. So as we were talking about, the schools and the introduction of these courses. So, you know, I mentioned earlier, what I agree with, and I think it's a welcome idea, is that the government has decided to introduce this. But I still stand on the fact that implementation has to be done properly. You know, the last caller was saying something about how it didn't matter how many they were in class, he learned something. But that is his case, because I know of many people that because of the number of children and maybe just one teacher, in fact, in my own secondary school, I remember we all had like one ridge, a ridge each. So you all go to the farmland, you have a ridge. There's some people that got away with not doing much because there's just one teacher who would take like one agric teacher who would take like from just 1 to SS3 or SS2, and then it will be your period. He's tired. The sun comes out and he's tired, so he lets you do what you need to do. And then he comes, he gives everybody a 1 mark. Everybody 6/10 today, no matter how hard you worked or how much you didn't work. So for me, it has to be about putting in the time. So there's this particular school that I follow on social media. It's in America. For them, it's a huge new thing because what they're doing is that they're incorporating all these things now into their curriculum. So they're learning to do all these things and they are putting time. There's enough. So it's not just, there's not just too much time, more time on the academics. There's enough.
There's a balance.
Yes, there's almost the same time on the academics as well as there is on the vocational training. They spend the time. Sometimes if you need one-on-one coaching, you will get that. So, and I know how Nigerians can be. You know, this idea of let them start. I know how Nigerians, if they start and it's working small, that's where they will leave it. Exactly. So I want us to have a plan. What is the plan? In the first year, okay, this is what we can do in the first year. Make sure they're learning barbing, fixing hair, or things like that. That's what we'll do in the first year. Then as we build more studios, or as we build or get more teachers, this is what we'll do in the second year. Because with Nigeria, if you say, okay, start where you are, they will not build on it if we don't push them to.
So what I'd rather them do is bring out the plan, meaning that you can say, okay, 10 public schools in this state or in certain states, 10 private schools must sign up. You know, let's do a pilot.
No, everybody should sign up.
I'm just giving. I'm not saying that they shouldn't sign up. I'm saying that let us do it in phases because there will be teething issues that they need to, as a country, we need to fix. You can't fix that on a large scale. So I would rather a plan where
let me disagree for private schools. For public schools, maybe because of funding, but private schools push the bill to parents. I would really like an opportunity. I had sat my daughter's school when she was 3 down that a 3-year-old should be swimming. Why are we afraid of this? And they didn't want to put in the work. But they will tell you to compel you to take an extracurricular and give you the option of a taekwondo. I might not want to do taekwondo for my child, but I'll be willing to pay for my child to learn plumbing or tiling. You understand? So if you're going to push the bill to parents, let them have choices. Compel schools. Then private schools should not be giving phases. Everybody should join the curriculum the way Lagos compelled them to join the curriculum for Yoruba language. Compel, because we see it as a need now, we are doing something. Compel it, everybody join. You find your resources how you are. So you're private, when you find your resources, no schools in Ojo that they have time to sew Ankara for Friday and sell it to 6,000 per 2 yards. They can find... They can find the...
Now he's talking about pay.
They can find the 6,000 for 2 yards to the skill for parents. So you know what you are paying for something worthy, as opposed to one nylon Ankara imported from China that you're compelled to wear for your child.
Let's talk about you want to talk about this?
Yes. So you know when we spoke about CNG and it was such an amazing idea, and months down the line we still have a huge deficit in number of places where you can do your conversion. We have a huge deficit in the number of filling stations. We'll find that happening here too as well, where you have this amazing idea and then we're struggling with implementation. So in my kids' school, there's a particular person that we did a program with, something Bright Minds, also, Macho Minds, Abacus, and he came up with the idea. It was a good way to stimulate the brain. We did it, and now they've inculcated it into my children's school, where it comes a day of the week to take all the children. You know, when we have an idea and we are not taking the time to see how we can implement it, the reason Taekwondo became a thing in school is because some people made it a career. They pitched to the school and say, we'll come and teach you. We'll teach your students karate, so they pay me for the teaching. We need to have that same system so that we are creating a new kind of job for people. So if you make an announcement and say that by the next session, we will need to register 500,000 teachers across Nigeria who will be able to teach plumbing, this one. In that one session, people will go to school just to be able to say, I can now start teaching plumbing in 3 or 4 schools. We are properly now creating jobs. But when we announce implementation, announcement is so sweet in Nigeria. All of us now start dancing. We are flagging off the new road. No construction has happened. We flag off.
That is my grouse.
Dance for the flag off.
That's my grouse.
It's tiring.
That's my major grouse because we celebrate these things. You see, I'm also asking the government something. What is the bigger picture? Because as a nation, it's got to be a bigger picture. There's something we're going. What are you trying to achieve? If I just start teaching sewing, teaching here, what exactly? Some countries will say, okay, the next 20 years, we want to become a manufacturing hub.
Yeah.
There's a target. Schools know this is the bigger picture. Yeah. Nigeria is going to become the manufacturing hub of Africa, or we're going to be the service hub where we're going to be everything. It's a vision. It's got to be a vision.
Now working
so that is what Nigerian schools, hospitals, NGOs, everybody's not aligned to that vision. Don't just be announcing, but not adding. What is that going to do for us?
Okay.
What is the roadmap? That's my worry. This federal government announcement.
Nobody needs to go to school just because they want to qualify to teach a skill now. That's not what we should be looking at. We have skillful people in these fields who do not have paper certification.
Hassan has been waiting.
Oh, so sorry.
Can I pause you, please?
Sorry, Hassan.
Thanks for calling. Are you still there, sir?
Good morning.
So sorry, Mr. Hassan.
Good morning. You see, the essence of this program, newly introduced program, the essence of this program by federal government, from my own point of view, is about catching them young. Catching them young. Because from primary school, we are catching them young. You see, we are living in a class-struggling country where everybody wants to be in an office, dishing out orders. You know, abandoning the real issue of dignity of labor. Go to Kutolu here, very close to us here. We should go and learn how they did it. Children of 15 years, 14 years, knew how to plaster, how to set blocks, how to do a lot of things. Go and learn. You don't have to go to Japan. Going far to Japan, you are going too far. It's because you have this inferiority complex in us. Anything Oyibo man is doing, we do it. Oyibo man is engaging in homosexuality. We are taking it to be a pride. We are jumping into it. So the issue now is this. Is for us to be serious about it. To be serious about it. And the long-run benefit of it is this. It will take care of unemployment ravaging the country. It will take, even later in future, the government of Nigeria will streamline this issue of this Japa. They will begin to streamline it to the extent that they will begin to export skilled people outside the way Filipinos are doing. Do you understand? And a lot of things will come to work. Look, all this paper qualification, me as far as I'm concerned, today, I have something to do with my hands. Leave paper qualification, it's not just for us to be blowing English all over the place. Good morning.
Much, Hassan. Nima.
Thank you. I wanted to say the end picture was just to create employment and remove this class that is making people shy away from the most important sector and think everybody wants to carry a CV and come and give you and find work in TVC. That kind of example. And as I was saying earlier about responding to the skill, the person does not have to come with a certification from a school. It can be Baba Carpenter right in front of the school, and he will qualify because he did the carpentry for the school. And the chairs are good.
I don't agree.
I totally agree. Once we put the book before it, Baba will carry his skill that he has only transferred to his son, who also does not have a WAEC. Let me tell you something. I know someone who was struggling to get his WAEC results, but he was trained by his dad in welding. He was my Quran teacher. And when Lagos State started the skill acquisition, he was shying away from applying. Thank God they did not use paper to employ him. He had taught a lot of people. They were making iron chairs, iron tables, and teaching at the Iba local government office. paper and certification is what has brought us here. Everybody is struggling to have distracted from the main skill itself. As opposed, okay, they say I must go and get 1 paper. I must go and get 2 or 3 papers. Who is the welder in front of the school? Who welded the gates of the school? This is the person that made our gate. He can come and teach the kids.
So they're different.
Expression.
I hear you, and I agree that you don't need certification.
Hold on.
But I am, listen, because I'm a retired makeup artist, by the way, and there are many makeup artists. But I went to learn how to teach. I love to teach. I've taught. I understand. I taught in schools. I've taught makeup. I have students that have gone to do other programs, and they will say they love the way TMO explains. You can have a knowledge. It's a thing to have knowledge. It's another thing to know how to transfer that knowledge. So I might know how I'm nailing it together, but I will tell you, this is why we're nailing it together. This is how... There's a science to teaching. So I am making you understand that even if this thing cannot nail, these are the other ways you can do it. You can screw from this way, do it that way. But you might know how to do it, but transferring the knowledge becomes a different thing. So that's why I said that we have skilled people. We need to now teach them how to transfer the knowledge of the skill. And it might not be, some people are gifted naturally, that they know how to teach what they do. But not, it's not...
I have to wrap up. There was a commercial, there's a TV commercial that comes to mind about the father and a son. The father has been doing carpentry for many years.
For that tea.
So I don't. Maybe
the boy was drawing.
So the boy,
and the boy kept drawing.
Education takes it to a different level.
I agree. We are starting, and we are saying you must come with no.
Let's start.
You can do a 2 weeks training to a carpenter and say this is how you teach.
So that's why I wanted to come.
This is how you teach. But don't say we are not starting until you go and bring your certificate.
Wrap up. I have
jam certificate.
Take a few comments on social media.
You know a skill and you qualify.
Yeah, I was going to say that we have teacher training. Events anyway, so we can...
I know teachers that have to be trained to teach.
Let me end with Mr. Otumba Karim. He says, Mr. Otumba Karim, good morning, Mariah and the ladies. Nigeria has never lacked innovative ideas. Yeah. We have them in abundance. However, our challenge lies in effective implementation and following through. For instance, there are the technical schools that once flourished. It's crucial that our children acquire technical skills, but we must commit to supporting them to adequate funding and monitoring. Any other, we have to wrap up, any other, okay. I have...
Moses Lawa says this policy will sink our education, as in sink, S-Y-N-K-N-C, sorry, S-Y-N-C, our education with the realities of our present world. Also, remember that digital literacy is also made a core subject as part of the policy. This is the standard in China and is making them...
people start gathering data of their customers.
Yeah.
This is huge.
It's important. So what we start to do is that we now start having people. So I'll give you another instance of a business. So we had this business in Anambra that we worked with. They're also in real estate. So they did about 1.8 billion last year. They got into our program. In the first quarter, they did 2.3 billion. But when he sent me the message, he sent it to me with sort of like a downside. And the downside was like, oh, they are gearing up for the rainy season. So I said, what's happening in the rainy season? He said, because sales is always terrible in the rainy season. I said, so why is sales terrible in the rainy seasons? Because most of the activities in the East is driven by the market. And in the rainy season, there's not much activity in the market, so there's not much activity there, so sales can happen. I said, good. I said, it's good that we know that. So I invited them, they came to Lagos, we sat in my office, and I said, the reason why you're having this problem is because you're only thinking about people in the East. I said, because now Lagos is having a problem, there's demolition, everybody's angry. Everybody was looking for where else to put their money. Businesses in Lagos are trying to open up real estate companies in the East to sell something for, but you guys are in the East. So the first thing we did was say, you know what, put a billboard. We put a billboard right opposite Computer Village saying, secure your investment in the East with a company in the East, right? We got the figure in September. They've done 7 billion. Yeah, because it's just simple. The Igbo community are one of the most cash-rich people. And if an Igbo man tells you he has 100 million, he has it. If a Yoruba man tells you he has 100 million, he has maybe 5 million and 95 million in convertible.
Why?
No, but it's true now. Yoruba now.
So you know what they carry in liquidity.
I mean, he has 5 million somewhere, 95 million that they can convert. But so you're talking to all these people who actually have money. You're in the East. They can trust you quite easily. So the thing is, most people, what happens is that we do business like it's a mystery, right? We do business like it's a mystery, you know. And so we pray. You pray to God to be able to bring customers, and you don't need. See, God. I will pass to God. God don't vex, but God, see, God is not in the equation of how you get customers.
He's still in the equation.
Yeah. You know the reason why I said that? Because it's like Nigeria is playing Brazil.
Okay.
You know, I'm a Nigerian. I'm praying. Father Lord, let me win.
Brazil
the Christian in Brazil is praying. So who is God going to support? God has left that thing to who's most prepared.
Let me talk to. There's a woman that I always buy plantain chips from. I used to order from her. Now, there's a time she sent me, and I stopped ordering for a while, right? And if she has my data, all she needed to do was ask me, because I started buying plantain chips from different places, people. But I really liked hers. And the reason why I just didn't order, the idea of calling, somebody came to me.
Yeah.
But I preferred that other lady's own. It was just to order and start requesting. I just didn't bother. But imagine she had my data. She knows Maria has not ordered this in 1 month. She should have contacted me. And if she did, I would have ordered from her. So in the simplest form, is really knowing your customers.
It is.
Yeah. And following up. Because that money, and make sure every 2 weeks, Mariah orders plantain chips from me. No, once you see me eating plantain chips for somebody else, you know that you've lost me. So you are constantly, you're close marking me. Every 2 weeks.
Let's help him. We have plenty of businesses, at least, but I know Nima has rice business. And that is a business many people... Somebody spoke to me yesterday about cement, that because of the way cement price is going, they are already predicting that it might be a challenging season. Rice also, people that do rice business, they're already like thinking, this Christmas, will people buy rice the way they buy rice?
Are you not giving to your customers? You suggest to them, are you not giving rice to your customers? Exactly. You know what, we have this rate now. If you lock it in now, you won't have to buy it in December, right? This person has bought 100 bags, this person has bought 200 bags,
you know what,
100 bags.
Sorry, Nima.
Right?
If even Nima, I want to...
Because people, you know how we always look, when we want to talk in Nigeria, we always expect the other person, like, it's their fault that they weren't supposed to call me to ask for the services. Because I bought rice from Nima before. Nima is waiting for me to order rice. I am your customer. I'm just trying, I'm bringing it home to the conversation with you. Nima knows me as a potential, because I have bought for rice from you before. But Nima is not asking me, Demara, that your rice, I just finished. Because she's, as a person, you're waiting for the customer to be able to come and find you. And what you are saying is that we, the ones who are selling, we must be the ones who will telling the customers and reminding them.
Not finished.
No,
in fact, how many customers can you tell?
I would even go one more better. How much rice do you typically spend in a month? Do you eat in a month?
My rice takes a quart, like 3 months. 1 bag of rice will take about.
So 1 bag of rice in 3. How much is a bag of rice? 75,000. So that means you have a market value of about 300,000 to 400,000 naira to high in a year.
Yeah.
So the question would be, what's the cost of getting that kind of business? I would say to you that, you know what, if you order from us every single time, we need your birthday. What happened? On your birthday, we would send you 2 kg of rice, just as a thank you for your business.
We're maintaining that.
Right? So, because every business must know their customers. I mean, one of the things that we promote in our community is somebody in your business, somebody in your customer sheet must know the name of somebody inside the business. Right? So even in my organization, we do 300 calls a day.
Wow.
Yeah. And even I do 20, 30 calls every single day. Why? Because we're not calling to just try to sell to people. We're just calling to find out what these people are doing. What's happening with them? What's changing in their lives?
Yeah.
You know, because the thing is, the moment things shift for people, even the things they regularly would buy, they feel a need to want to change whoever they're buying it from because they think that person is expensive. But the thing that plugs that thing out is the relationship that you've built. So there are some people, they've probably moved on, they're buying rice more expensive somewhere else, but they just feel the need to just change somebody because times are hard, let's change who we're buying from. You know, but the reality is that would they eat rice, they'll eat rice. Would they cook beans, they'll eat beans.
You know, there's something I've noticed about Nigerian businesses. When it is small scale, I feel like people really go all out to maintain it. So, like recently when the increase in food prices, I heard that there's some people that will cut the tuber of yams into smaller pieces so that they can sell. And I'm like, Nigerians are so innovative. How come I don't see that innovation and skill applied to like maybe mid businesses?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Simple. Most businesses in this country, right, lose it because the CEO gets satisfied. So what we do this. So the biggest philosophy that we have within our community is, so if you take your lives now, take the way your life is and how
expensive it is and how much of your life anybody that works for you wants exactly what you have. Question, are you building a business that can get it to them over the next 2-3 years, right? The reason why that's important is that if you're not, most entrepreneurs, the future that they think, they only see themselves in that future. Now, the entrepreneur wants to buy a G-Wagon. He's 4 years in, he already has one. He's lost his hunger, right? He's lost his hunger. And it happens with all of us. Imagine you have a goal to make 100 million this month, right? And today is 16th. You've already done 95 million. What's going to happen is that somebody is going to call you at 11 o'clock tonight for business. And they're going to say something like, these people don't understand work-life balance. What kind of nonsense is this? Don't they realize that, people need to rest? Yeah. But the same 100 million naira goal is 26th of October, right? You've only done 5 million, and somebody who's promised you 100 million naira in business is calling at 11. You'll be very official.
Yes.
Okay. Right? So the difference is, and the reason why the businesses lose their edge is because the entrepreneur loses his sharpness because he's gotten to where he's going to.
This is masterclass.
Right? Yeah. But if the entrepreneur shifts and says, you know what, the success of my business would not be measured by how well I'm doing, but it will be measured by how well my people are doing. Right?
Oh, yes.
Right? So I'm not going to be happy when I can buy a nice car. Yeah. I'm going to be happier when somebody that works for me. And there are people that are doing that in this country. I mean, take Tony Lumelu, sitting on 3 different businesses worth over $1 trillion a year. $1 trillion market cap. And if you watch him over the last 10 years, he's had the same group of people, just evolving, growing with him. Right? You can't be small, growing big people.
Okay, so now I've heard you talk about businesses that have taken off, who have markets, who have customers that they can reach out to. Talk to a business that is starting.
Good.
Someone that is building. I sell local rice. It's not something Murayo consumes regularly.
I'll just take an example.
You have do me. Let me deliver. So you go to the shopping mall and see a local rice brand, but you pick a foreign rice brand because you trust it more. Yeah. So now, talk to a business that is starting, how you win people over. So I keep my local consumers tight. Yeah. I don't bother about people that are their taste are foreigners. So, please. So how do you start to win people?
Good.
As a new business?
Beautiful. So a new business, now if somebody comes to me and say, I want to start a business, there are 4 questions that I would ask. First, what you want to start. Does it serve a huge expanding market or is it a dying market? Right? Because Nigeria would like to start business of our passion. And it doesn't work. So, but maybe you have enough money to follow your passion. If you don't have enough money, don't follow passion.
I'm willing to put my
follow where the business is, right? Because if you follow your passion, you can still make it work, but it costs a lot more, right? Because now you're talking about local rice. So you have to do a lot of education to let people realize that local rice is better, right? So which is the second thing? Is it in its time? If it's ahead of its time, like yours is, you have to spend a lot of money to educate people, right? Third is, what's my point of difference? What would make somebody move from I want to buy a phone to I need an iPhone, or I need a Samsung, or I need, whatever it is. And then the fourth is, can it give me leverage? And then the fifth thing I then like to discuss is, if you're small, get plugged into a community of people. It's easier to sell to people. I would say, look, the easiest thing, you're a small business, you want to kick off, find your customers inside a community or follow them into a community. I'll give you an instance. So within our community now, we've facilitated more than 5.6 billion naira worth of transaction inside. Okay. Somebody wants to do painting, in fact, today's Wednesday. Today what's happening is that people are talking to each other on the groups about, okay, this is what I do, how do we do business together? Why? Because you find people inside a community, you can do big business. If you're a small business and you don't have a lot of marketing budget, find people inside the community. Right? Even for me, when I started out doing trainings and all that, it was difficult because most of the people don't want to pay for training. So what I did was that I went to microfinance banks. Okay. So I went to microfinance banks and said, look, people are owing you now. They say, yes, so they're not paying. I said, one of these why they're not paying is because they don't have the money. So can I do a free training on marketing and sales for your people? Just gather all the people that are owing you. If you tell them to come for training, they will come. They're already owing you. They will come. When they come, and then you teach them, they see the value in it, I can get some people for myself, right? So I'm solving the bank's problem, and I'm also solving
my own problem.
I didn't get that message.
So I have.
How are you going to call somebody?
The bank needs their people to be empowered so that they can pay their debts.
Okay.
Right? These people are owing you because they don't have the money.
I got
Right? Do you understand? So if they get better, in fact, that particular microfinance man moved on and said, okay, can I do expert in residence? So one day, a month, I'll sit down, they'll bring somebody, we'll do strategies, blah, blah, blah. And they started to see results. Their business started to blow up, right? So the thing is, find people inside the community, and then you can then do business.
It's good that you said that, because I was wondering, like, who needs you? Is it the person who's starting off? Or how about a business who they've always done a lot of business, billions, but, you know, as they say, times have changed and it's affecting sales. Does that business need someone like you? What would you do for them?
So our community, what we try to do is to build a community that is very useful across board. So we have like 4 levels of people within our community. So there's the guy who's just starting, and I just have an idea, blah, blah, up until their first 60 million in revenue. So we work with those people, right? In fact, after they attend our training, we charge them absolutely nothing. There are 3 engagements every month. We want to help them grow. There are people that have exceeded 60 million. They're trying to hit their first 100 million naira. We work with them. We work with those that have exceeded 100 million naira to a billionaire, and then those that have done beyond a billionaire. Now, what we then do is that because we like to be very practical, the person who's doing 60 million naira, who is trying to hit 100 million naira, we provide opportunities for them to meet with somebody who's done over 100 million naira, you know, to say, okay, this is what we're doing. Because what we're trying to do is to bring somebody who's done it, but hasn't gone so far they've forgotten what they've done. You know, so the people in our community who have exceeded the 100 million, trying to hit a billionaire, we have meetings with them every month. The mastermind meeting, we bring people who have done over $1 billion in transactions. We're bringing them in to say, okay, this, because the needs are different. You know, at certain points, you need to be better structured so that you can access international funding. At certain points, you need to even know whether there's a market or not.
I have to bring you back home now, because you're talking to entrepreneurs, and I think Nima tried to take us there. There are people that things are very difficult.
Yes.
They don't know how to find that one thing to start a business on. They're not sure. They're not, yes, they are passionate. I say, don't focus too much on passion, but how can they find that one thing that is marketable, that is sellable, that has a market, that is viable?
If you are starting out, you don't know what to do, sell. Find something that is already selling. Find the company, get it, and sell it. It's the easiest thing in the world, and it's the most powerful skill in the world.
I go to a Nima, give me the rice, I'll sell
So,
you.
for example, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I come to Nima and I say, look, you sell local rice. Good. I'm going to find people who need the local rice. And I'm going to get the rice. I'm going to sell it.
Please say it again. You need to say that. It's not like you come and collect my rice.
No, because
you find the market.
No, you find the market.
Get the money, and I will give you
exactly.
Say it again.
No, in business, if you don't have money, you sell and buy.
Yeah.
You don't buy and sell.
Come on, be
right?
Me.
You go, you sell, you find. That's how I started business in school. When I was in the university, that's what I did.
Almost out of time.
So
there's something. So you've last year you did Strategy Factory. You do every month, right?
Yeah, we do that. Yeah.
Strategy Factory every month. But you did a conference last year, and I paid. I did not go. So let me now tell you what happened. So I deferred, and the feedback I got from the people that went, they were like, you must be here. I didn't even pay with the intention of going. I paid so that my staff can. You know when they say, do you understand? So this year, I was not negotiating with him that the money I paid last year, can I use it this year?
It's in November.
Okay, you're here because of the conference. Let's talk about
it. We can talk about it.
It's about
Okay. So it's a convention for business owners that are looking to sort of scale their business up to the next level. But it's also about networking. Yeah. Right? So we created it for networking. We have some of the best entrepreneurs. We have the first female president of Mauritius coming. Cosmos Maduka will be there. The MD of the oldest registered company in the country, the Boatswain Group.
So we'll give you the time, whatever. The people come to find out and go and
follow him.
Find his name.
Is Ezekiel.
But is there any discount? Like, okay,
we're not talking about money here for anything. That's not what we give us. No, that's not why we are here. But we thank you very much for your wisdom.
Thank you.
I like for the fact that you've been able to learn from you. We wish you the best and hope that we should have more strategy. We'll bring you back. Because there are different ladies.
Places. Everybody was listening. Pin drop silence.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Okay, that's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.